I've said we can take some of that money. I think every child in America should go to college.
Say that!
And I've said we're going to give a $4,000 tuition credit. Every student, every year.
Yes, God.
But students will have to give something back in return. They'll have to work in community service, in a veterans home, in a homeless shelter, join the Peace Corps, join the Foreign Service. We will invest in you. You will invest in America. Together we will move forward.
That's right. That's right. You were preaching, I'm telling you.
They can be our diplomats around the world. With that money we spend in Iraq, we can put our young people to school.
Yes, Lord.
I will end this war in Iraq, but I don't want to just end the war in Iraq. I want to end the mindset that got us in the war.
Ooh, say that.
You know, at the beginning of this campaign, early on, I had a debate with Senator Clinton about the fact that I would meet not just with our friends, but with our enemies. And she said, no, you can't do that. That would be naive. That would be irresponsible. And I said, remember what John F. Kennedy said. He said, we should never negotiate out of fear, but we should never fear to negotiate. Strong presidents and strong countries talk to their adversaries and tell them where America stands and try to resolve differences without resort to war. And when we do that, I want to be able to go before the world community as president and say, America is back. America is back and we are ready to lead. And we will lead going after terrorists. We will finish the fight against Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. We will lock down loose nuclear weapons. But we will also lead on climate change. We will also lead in stopping the genocide in Darfur, because we're not a nation that turns a blind eye to slaughter. We will also lead in helping poor countries deal with the devastation of HIV/AIDS. We will lead by closing Guantanamo and restoring habeas corpus and restoring our civil liberties.
That's right.
We will lead in our observation of rule of law and human rights. And if you are ready for change, you can elect a president who has taught the Constitution, who believes in the Constitution, and will obey the Constitution of the United States of America. We can do these things if you're ready for change. But I want to make sure you understand what that means, because we started talking about change at the beginning of this campaign. We talked about change when we were up. We talked about change when we were down. But I noticed this change thing must be catching on, because suddenly everybody's talking about change. And that's okay. We all want to be on the change bandwagon, but I think it's important for you to know the arguments that are being made, suggesting that somehow I would not be the best agent for change. Argument number one, they say, you know, he may be inspiring, he's got good policies, but he hasn't been in Washington long enough. So they say we need to season and stew him a little bit longer and boil all the hope out of him. And then somehow maybe he'll be ready. And I've got to say, I don't think the American people are buying that argument. Because they understand that the real roll of the dice, the biggest gamble, would be to have the same old folks doing the same old things over and over and over again, and somehow expecting a different result. We don't need that. We need something new. Now, we've had some excellent candidates in this field. I mentioned Joe Biden, and now the field is narrowed to myself and Senator Clinton. And so we're hearing some arguments from Senator Clinton about, you know, how she's ready for day one. But I have to remind her, and I talked about this in the debate, it's not just saying you're ready for day one. The question is, are you right on day one? We expect that John McCain may end up being the nominee. And if John McCain is the nominee, then the Democratic Party has to ask itself, do you want a candidate who has similar policies to John McCain on the war in Iraq, or somebody who can offer a stark contrast?
Yes.
See, when I'm the nominee, John McCain won't be able to say that you were for this war in Iraq because I wasn't. He won't be able to say that I followed the Bush-Cheney doctrine and not talking to leaders we don't like because I don't.
All right, sir.
He won't be able to say that I went along and gave George Bush the benefit of the doubt on Iran because I haven't.
I love him. I love
He
him.
won't be able to say that I was unclear about my position on torture because I've been absolutely clear. We never torture in this country. I can offer a clear and clean break from the failed policies of George W. Bush. I won't have to explain my votes in the past. But the same is true on domestic policy. John McCain's basic approach is more Bush. John, I respected John opposed Bush tax cuts. Early on, he said it was irresponsible to cut taxes at the same time as we were going into a war. But now, the wheels have fallen off the Straight Talk Express. And he is starting to say, let's extend them. Well, we don't need to have a Democratic nominee who is not clear about the kind of fight that we're going into. See, I'm not afraid to say that I don't mind raising the cap on Social Security so that wealthier Americans have to pay a little more so that ordinary Americans can count on Social Security well into the future. I don't mind having that debate.